Very.
Shut your freaking mouth.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're watching GEEKCASTER. I'm Michael 7 Michael, and today we've got in the studio
Dayveonne, Bussey, no puns intended.
Phoenix Sparks.
It's me, Corey Davis.
Yeah, you're watching GEEKCASTER. I'm sliding over here. I'm sliding over there. Everything
I love how the
sci-fi-fantasy and geek culture. We're going to be talking about The Batman. That's right. This is a review of the movie The Batman. Now, before we do a review, we always got to ask, are we spoiling anything or no? We're not spoiling anything.
Yes, we're spoiling.
No, we're not spoiling. It just
Yes, we are.
in a week. No, not spoiling.
Yes.
Not spoiling.
Spoil.
Nah, let's not do it. Let's not do it. Because what we can do is, let's put this out, and then we'll come back and then go in even deeper with the script, the talent, with the people. Let's do that. It's all right.
How about we go with the consensus? 2 weeks after the premiere, spoilers are allowed.
I think that's fair. What do you think, Phoenix?
Yeah, let's wait. Let's wait to do spoilers.
Cool. Alrighty.
Would you say 1 week?
I'm drinking my water.
All right. So anyway, the movie The Batman. This has been so anticipated, just because this was supposed to be Ben Affleck's Batman, and when we found out that wasn't happening, the next question was, who's going to be Batman? Then out of nowhere, Robert Pattinson. That hit a lot of fans really hard. Some were like, yay. Many were like, nay. But they were like, you know what? And Corey said it, I think he can do it. I think he's going to do it.
I said that from the beginning.
You said that from the beginning. Because Corey just likes to go against everybody anyway.
I just said I was up in the air.
Then out of nowhere, it was like, Zoe Kravitz was going to be Selena Kyle. Okay. Next thing you know, we're going to have Penguin. We're going to have Colin Farrell.
I would have.
Okay. And then it was like, we're going to have Hush from the trailers, or is it going to be the Riddler? Is it going to be Hush and the Riddler, or is it going to be the version where Hush is also the Riddler? And this is what we were left with. And then, dun dun dun, the movie came out. You could take it from there, Corey. That was a lot.
That was a lot. I don't even know where I want to go because we can't spoil anything. I regret this decision. I kind of regret this decision.
It's hard without spoiling it, but yeah, but fans, if you're a Batman fan, you understand where we're going with this. There were so many questions that we just had to step back and let's just see what happens.
I will say I appreciate and I applaud Matt Reeves for saying, if I'm going to do this, I'm going to do it my way. And what he delivered was solid. It was actually solid. I do have my issues with it.
Mm-hmm.
But overall, I think it's the start of the Batman that we all wanted and was looking for.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I'll leave it there without spoilers.
Phoenix, you're a huge Batman fan, so
Yes.
What are you thinking?
Without spoiling anything, I really admire how this film wasn't just a film on its own. It had ways of pulling from previous films and the comic books themselves. So love to see that. Yeah, I mean, there were a lot of details. I'm a details person, and I think anyone who appreciates like interconnectedness and fluidity whenever following a plot will also really appreciate there's symbols in there and some fun things, some Easter eggs.
Okay. Dayveonne?
I'm gonna have to agree with all of you guys because I can't spoil nothing. And y'all all bet
You
it.
are such a hater.
I'm like, look. But overall, I was flabbergasted. I was basically in all the performances, the story, the environment was phenomenal. The only thing I had an issue with was the time. It could have been a little bit short.
A little shorter?
Wow,
Yeah, a
that's
little
interesting.
short.
What?
Yes.
Interesting.
I was
Yeah.
actually going to say you gave the most detailed, vague answer I've ever heard, but then you give me out of nowhere the time. I thought it should have been longer. I actually thought it was a good pace.
Mhm.
I think it was a little bit long. Like I wasn't expecting to stay in the theater until almost 3 hours.
Mm.
2.5. Relax. Can
That's
we do a spoiler after this?
Oh,
No,
now
we
you
definitely
want to
have
do
to
a
do
spoiler.
one going in. There is because Corey has a soft heart for directors and writers, and he has a soft heart for intent. If you had a really good intent, he will give you a good review.
Oh, that is a lie. That is a lie. I picked this movie apart, but
Mhm.
I will say,
Mhm.
overall,
Okay.
the average viewer
Mhm.
who really does go that deep into the lore or know that much, I think they're getting off on the right foot of knowing Batman because this is such a young Batman in such a young time of his. And I thought that was a perfect place for Matt Reeves to start. But I had several issues with a lot of things in this film.
Which were what?
Spoilers.
Oh, really? You can't say what the issues without spoiling?
I really can't because that's how deep I went into this movie.
Jeffrey Wright, which is one of my favorite
Yeah.
actors, I would have
Yeah.
to say that he was that he is a character actor. And what I mean by that is I really feel every time he does a character, he really jumps into it. I feel that he was a really great James Gordon. He really worked what was given to him. I didn't get the stubborn, strong man that Gordon had to be commissioner. So overall, you get the vibe of his corruption in the city and his corruption with cops and everything. And even when they did this series on television, the series version of Gotham, he had to rise in ranks and he had to prove himself and he had to go against everything that was corrupt. And he was too passive. In a sense that he was going with the grain. I just felt that there should have been more kickback and push and more bite with his character.
I disagree. But
I
okay.
disagree.
Let's talk about it. Oh, you guys woke up. Oh, you can talk now. Even whoa, let's go into it.
Yeah, because you got to look at it. This is Detective James Gordon, not Lieutenant James Gordon.
Not Commissioner James Gordon.
James Gordon. You got to look at it this way because you have to be kind of passive because you're not a commissioner yet. You know, you're walking on eggshells, and they already know that he's not.
But that's it. His whole character was constantly. There was no scene to see the other side. So even to be passive and let things go, there has to be a strength there, right? To even be in that kind of situation. They never allowed us to see that strength.
I really disagree.
In other words, that he was one-dimensional. His character pretty much stayed the same throughout the whole thing. It was greatly played, but he wasn't allowed to, based on the script, to go any other places.
Yeah, and I think that's
a
flaw.
You said yeah, so you agree? Oh,
no,
that was a quick yeah.
No.
No,
I get what you're saying.
Okay,
but
so you understand the words coming out of my. Okay, just checking.
Affirmative, sir. But I think that's the issue with the story itself, not his character, because
I just said
this
that.
is such a young time and such a beginning.
Yeah, there's a script. There's a problem with the script. He's a
But,
great actor. It was well played.
but however, Matt Reeves did give us a lot of Easter eggs. So while he was passive, you did see that he had a lot of admiration from the people, his peers. Even though he wasn't in a high position of structure within the police force, he still garnered that respect from people higher and lower. And they did show that.
I'm not questioning that. I'm not questioning that fully.
That's
I'm just saying that they still should have painted, instead of painting him one color, they should have gave him more colors to play with. He is such a brilliant actor that you had actors that had leading roles, I won't mention which, that are not that good. That you had such a great actor, how can you not give him a little bit more? Just a little bit.
So we can say that about every character in this movie.
Let's do it. Let's go for it. That's what we're here for.
So, however,
Colin
the one
Farrell,
thing,
Penguin.
he was nuts. All right, the story was way bigger than Penguin. You're playing semantics here. If you look at the overall picture that Matt Reeves did, and it was a detective story as well as origin story, semi-origin story, for how Bruce struggles with the suit. I can say that. That's not really a spoiler. Yeah, it's such a young time in his life because he is very young at this point. It's still the building blocks. I think the foundation is solid for Matt Reeves to actually build and explore these themes that you want to see.
I'm saving my big guns for when we do part 2 of the Batman review. Spoiler alert.
Yes.
Okay.
So, but
I think I walked that line pretty finely.
I'm just doing the easy pickings at this point. Okay.
Jeffrey Wright was amazing. He did great, and the character Commissioner. It's not the Commissioner Gordon story. It's the Batman story.
Batman. Love Batman. It's not the Batman. It's love Batman.
Back me up, Phoenix.
I mean, it's the characters before they became the later version. So you're wanting them to be these dynamic things when they're dynamic over time. When you compile all the films and all the comics together, they're not necessarily going to be super dynamic in every single film. And, like the other characters aren't the focal point here. Right. So not saying they can't be dynamic, but...
What was the takeaway? What was the focus for you, Phoenix? What do you feel you took away from the Batman?
I mean, in terms of a consistent theme, obviously there was ambitions to rid the city of corruption, and see a lot of focus on the Riddler, along with Batman becoming this later version of himself that we're so familiar with. So this is like before he really grew into the hero.
It's interesting, the choices. They had Riddler, but they also had a lot of Hush. And this is why I was talking about that earlier with the big questions where even at the, well, you said
this is spoiler territory.
Hold on. So, I would say this. They should explore. If you're gonna play with it, explore it. If you're gonna play with Hush and Riddler, explore it. Don't dance around it, because now it becomes just like geek bait. So for those that know the comics, it's like, I'm gonna play with you, but I'm not gonna go anywhere with it. It's almost like there's a little boy, right? And I'll pose it in the question. There's a little boy in the film, and are you Robin? Are you not? Are you this? What's happening? And I find that they're doing that a lot with Star Wars. They're doing a lot with the DC world. Ironically enough, 2 different companies that own the franchises, but I find a lot of stuff with DC and a lot of stuff with Star Wars. They like to throw these little things at you and play with it. and they're not going anywhere in that direction. And like, well, why? Why do that? Because you're pissing off the hardcore fans that are into the comics and everything. And then the people that are not into this at all, they don't know what you're doing. They don't know what you're talking about.
I think he walked that line of Easter eggs, like a big one for the audience to remember, and this small detail ones for the geeks. So I think he did walk that line pretty well.
Yeah. Now, mind you, I'm being harsh, and I got plenty of ammo to go even harsher. But let it be known, compared to some of the other, like the first Christian Bale Batman movie, this was better by far. Not the one with the Joker, but what was the official title?
Batman Begins.
Batman Begins. I think this was better than Batman Begins. In the detective side of, and we've been screaming for that in months. We always talk about that. They didn't give us full detective. They gave us smart Batman. They should have went further with like solving things, but I'll take it because we didn't have that before at all. Because the bar was so low that it was like, all right, finally. I mean, the first Batman, the only one that he actually was doing any detective work was Michael Keaton.
Yeah, I was actually going to say this is on par with the very first Batman. Yeah. I put it that highly. However, I will agree with you that if you have a great Batman, you have to do something with Bruce Wayne. And because
there was no Bruce Wayne there.
Yeah, I agree with him.
Yeah,
that was like so this is where I like the I agree with Corey saying this is a good beginning. I can't give you an A+. Yes, people went out and they saw it, COVID. They got great numbers. That's great, but you still didn't hit the mark yet. You still didn't give us true Batman. You can't give us Batman without giving us Bruce Wayne. You have to give us both. You can't just give us one. It doesn't work to give one.
Phoenix is like, nah, you don't agree?
You don't agree? Speak your truth, Phoenix. Go ahead.
I agree partially with you with you kind of need Batman, Bruce Wayne are the same person, but I totally don't agree with you when you're like, oh, they gave us, geek Easter eggs and they didn't really do anything with it. Like, I don't agree with you at all because HBO has the Batman spinoff and it's all related. Like, the movie is priming for, it's intertwining past movies.
Are you talking about Asylum?
Well, there's a new spinoff that was just like approved by HBO, or I don't think so. I think it's like a newer series. And then also
Asylum.
There's speculation that there's going to be other movies after this one. Right. So
I mean, am I saying it wrong? Gotham, what's it called? Arkham.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's Arkham.
Yeah. So no, that's great. I think that's a brilliant idea because the things that you can do, I would say it off the air because I'm not trying to, take my ideas and make money. No. But I mean, there's so many amazing things you can do with that.
Yeah.
But the amount of problems that could also create, which we'll talk offline on that one. But no, I think that's great. With the Easter eggs, it's hard to do that without doing the spoilers of where they messed up with that and like you played with things that you didn't develop, and you didn't work on, and it was kind of a waste. Because like, for instance, your hero is as good as your villain. So the fact that people were confused made the Hush/Riddler character, it did give him a sense of power, which was great. But then it totally went against anything that you know about the Riddler. Again, I don't want to, if you know the Riddler, perfect. I was talking to Kendrick, and he said it best. I was really trying to get him on the show. We'll see if we can do another show with him. And we were both talking about the character Riddler. Riddler never wants to get his hands dirty.
Mm.
So when you stay true to that character and you start thinking, you're like, oh, well, if that's the case, then this wouldn't happen, that wouldn't happen. Now,
I was going to go into it, but that's spoilers. Never mind.
Yeah,
exactly.
same here. Same here.
There you go. There you go. The sets were great. They definitely were limited. And I'm pretty sure that was because of COVID. They shot some things in Chicago, which was interesting. They shot a lot of things in London. And I believe they had a third location too. I was trying to look that up. So when you saw the conversations on the top of the building, you look at the top of the building, it's like that's obviously Europe. The architecture. So that was beautiful to see that architecture and see those spots. The club life, they always have Gotham as this dark and dingy area. Except for a funeral scene, everything was pretty much dark. What did you guys feel about that? Because that's been a consistent thing that everyone has taken advantage of, is making things dark and cold and dingy.
But that's
okay.
Yeah, but that's the purpose of having that setting for the Batman. Like, it's supposed to be dark. It's supposed to be dingy because you gotta look at the story behind the Batman. Yes, a little bit of Bruce Wayne too, because you gotta understand he's still kind of seeking revenge, mourning the fact that his parents are dead.
But
So,
yeah, you're gonna end there.
yes,
I will slightly tweak it. I feel as though in past movies we've seen Gotham as an afterthought and a set piece. Matt Reeves actually brought Gotham alive and made it the forefront. So I appreciated that. However, he did change a lot of what we know of Batman. So a lot of little things like, oh man, that's plot. So a lot of, I can't go into the spoilers, but a lot of the direction that he went with Gotham and the what we know of Batman is different in Matt Reeves' universe, and I'm excited to see where he goes with it.
You really thought that things were that different?
Yes,
Or just from other. You mean in comparison to how others directed?
Right, in comparison to all the other Batman films, we've gotten a fresh look at exactly what you wanted, a detective story.
Okay.
More origin story.
More detective. I say more. Yeah.
A lot of nuanced things that people are like, wait, what? That didn't happen. I can say what the relationship with Bruce and Alfred, with his parents, with the Riddler, like you're talking about. I think this world building and him taking the chance in the swing is not only wanted, but I thought executed very, very well in this film.
The intro, I know the intro is super important because within the first 10 minutes, you're supposed to believe this dude can fight. He fits the suit. And the choreography was okay. I wasn't, I didn't really buy it. I was just like, okay, it's Batman, I'll let that go. I don't really see Robert Pattinson as fighting. I think that's super important just for like when you choose these characters, these actors to play, that you could really buy into that. But the street gangs, the culture I thought was, and I think I'm kind of co-signing with you, Corey, the Gotham culture, it was great. I think he's one of the first film-wise, because the TV show did it really well, because I guess I had more time. But I felt there were gangs. I felt that there were things going on in that society, which was cool. And then having this Jamie Lawson, Bellarella, which is funny because her name is Real Beauty. So I thought that was kind of cool. Her character being the change character, kind of like the Community Obama of that world, right? Change is now, we need change, we need to change things. So I thought that was an interesting theme and a push to have that throughout there, because you needed that, because Bruce wasn't giving that. There was no other character really doing that. You saw it in the heart of James Gordon, or just assumed it was there. That's the thing. You didn't really prove it. There was no speech. There was no, you just kind of assume because you rely on your history of Commissioner Gordon and what he does for a profession that, he's a good guy. He wants to make change.
I disagree with you.
Good. Tell me why.
Without spoiling, the relationship he has with Batman throughout this whole film set that precedent. So that's why I disagree with you. Okay. He has shown that he has heart and he has his head on the right. Their dialogue, a lot of the time, like how they were, protecting each other, was really, really refreshing. And you have not seen that in other films.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought that was actually brilliant on the director's stamp, or whoever wrote it, because they have to have that. We're buddies, and I do like the fact they threw in there, man, I've been working with you for X amount of time, and I don't even know who you are. So I thought that was a really important line that the other movies did not put in there. So I thought that was super important. So there are moments in this that I thought were super, really good gems. That we have not seen.
Didn't Matt Reeves, the director, also write this? Yeah, he co-wrote it. Yeah, so he said he was not going to do this film unless he did it his way. So everything that you're seeing is from the mind of Matt Reeves.
Yeah. So we blame the other writer for lack of development?
Oh my God!
That's fine. I can't wait for that other episode.
I feel like you have a whole bunch of ammo, but you're shooting blanks.
Machine Gun Kelly, something's gonna hit you.
You ain't genres. You're about.
All right, give everybody your social media, because we didn't even get on Selena Kyle. There was a whole bunch of things that were off. That was we agreed on that.
Yeah, we do agree on that.
You almost didn't even need Catwoman in it.
I actually put that in my review. She's like an added piece that they did nothing with.
It was just...
It's like
marketing.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
I thought it was in their contract to have a specific amount of screen time. I put that in my article. It's funny that...
said that?
I'm surmising that. I don't know for sure.
Yeah, because it was like you had the Riddler, you had Penguin, you had the masterful Jeffrey Wright. I mean, you had so many. Andy Serkis was in there. I mean, you didn't take advantage of some of these great actors in there, and you just, I don't know. All right, what's the social media, man? Oh, wait. What's Matthew McConaughey was in there too, right?
Was he?
Yeah.
So. Yeah.
Yes.
J.K. Simmons was in there. It was just like, what are you?
Yeah, J.K. Simmons was in it.
Come on.
Matthew.
Come
Yes.
Come on.
You gotta let us spoil the next episode.
What's your social media?
Dayveonne Bussey on all the things except for Twitter and Twitch.
Phoenix Sparks on Instagram and Twitch.
You can find me, Corey Davis, at IMGT3 on all of the things. However, I want to push back. I did not see Matthew McConaughey in this movie.
I did.
I don't see him on IMDb either. So where do you guys see Matthew McConaughey?
We can't save it for the next episode.
Okay. And Michael Seven Michael on IG. You can go to GEEKCASTER.com. If you're watching on cable, thank you for supporting. And we really appreciate you. You can always go to GeekCaster.com to watch this show and other shows and other after shows. This will also be on IG. And yes, check out The Batman. And we're going to have another review, and we're going in and hopefully have Kendrick as a guest. Have a good night, y'all.
If he's not on IMDb, he wasn't in the movie. That's how I feel.
Yes, he was. He was.
Are you sure it wasn't a lookalike?
No, I'm sure. He was in the movie.
I don't see him on IMDb.